That's what you do. You buy these players that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on with a smile on his face.
They just want you to sit in your chair and go hip hip hooray for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old every single day without the truth. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series.
We are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Good morning. What a beautiful morning. I've got the fucking window cleaner here. It's cleaning my window. It's cleaning my window. He's downstairs. He's got one of those big long poles. Whoppers every 2 weeks comes around. But anyway, good morning everyone. It's another beautiful day. Loads of vitamin D and the old boat races, as they say. And as would say, noi siamo I campioni. Of course we're their champions. We are the champions. We are the champions. The black and white boy. Morning folks, morning black and white. What a day, eh? Can't wait for it to be over. No, I'm talking about the day to be over. Talking about, so I can get some fresh air. I wish he has I've got a Juliet balcony. I wish he had a full balcony. Just sit out on that. They haven't, unfortunately. Ain't got no balcony as such. The Juliet balcony, but there's no women passing, so I could shout, do what Juliet, wherefore art thou? But she says, Romeo. I'll be saying, wherefore art thou? Lovely women. George said, come on, Frank, on this beauty. Yes, George, that's what I just said. This is the type of, you see, if I had got to Italy and I wanted to live there, and this is what you'd be waking up to every morning. Every day. The sun. Warmth. I was just looking at a thing there, the most corrupt countries, and it's had them in order, And I really thought it was gone down to number 1 to Ukraine. Now, just before, it was known, coming up, say, 2022 as the most corrupt country on the planet. But the way it is today, oh no, it certainly isn't. Oh, come on. Pathetic. All the Z-Kiles. And the black and white say, how's the weather down there? Gorgeous up here in Edinburgh. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, black and white. It really is. It's lovely. And it's about bloody time that this country, instead of waking up to grey skies every day, which depressed everybody, depressed me, just grey sky. I always remember, I used to play a lot of badminton years ago when I could move. And what had happened was, this fella came around for me, you know, the fella I played badminton with. And this is in the middle of July. And he looked and he had a coat on. And he just looked up, he said, look at this. And it was a black cloud just hovering above us, if you know what I mean. And that's the way it is. I remember one summer, I was going to have a barbecue in the July again. And I said, we'll have it on a Sunday, a Saturday or a Sunday, what's the best? Oh, we'll have it on a Saturday so that no one's got to get up. And I said, okay, you know, the next day, that is. So I sent the invites out. I said, it could be any Saturday this month. You know, next month it was, you know, it was the June. I said it could be any Saturday. So be prepared. Never had it, because every weekend it rained. Every weekend it rained in that July. Gave up. Just gave up. Just gave up. And Callum says, 20 degrees here. I think we're in Spain. I think that's the Spanish flag. Yes. It's really nice. Got my daughter coming down later, 1 o'clock. So, right, films. I was watching a couple of old ones, actually, not black and white ones, you know. One I was watching was a Clint Eastwood, made in the 80s, called Firefox. I thought, oh, I'll have a look at this. And I looked at it. And it's good. It's a British-made one, actually. And it's really good. And it's about an American pilot, you know. And he's got to rob this plane from the Russians, obviously, the Russians. Even going back to the 80s then, you know. Russia evil. So go and rob with their plane, high-tech plane. So they go in and... But it's a really good film. And there's some good stalwart actors, like Freddie Jones. Great British actor. He was like. But, you know, so there's stalwarts like them who were in this film. And that's Firefox, if anyone hasn't seen it, you know. So watch it. I watched it years ago, to be honest. And I said, oh, I think I'll have a look at this again. So I did. And it's lovely. Lovely little film. And the other one is more or less up to date one. And it's called Assimilate. It's called Assimilate. About two young lads who are vloggers. You know, showing their town a little town in the USA, shall we say. And so there's two lads and a girl, and they're only young, teenagers, doing the vlog, you know. And it's really good. Bit of a take on the invasion of the body snatchers, but it's good. It's good. So try and get that assimilate. See what you've been saying. As was about the weather thing. Hopefully it lasts throughout this. It was nice last May too. Yeah. It's always nice on my birthday. My birthday's tomorrow. And I stopped having birthdays. But as you just said, it was nice in May too. Not that I'm going out tomorrow or anything. Wish I could, but George said, my mate retired at 50 to his family village outside. Oh no. The family moved from Italy before the First War, establishing a wonderful ice cream parlour and cafe in Ireland called Carlyle's. Go away. My mate retired at 50 to his family village outside Napoli. The family moved from Italy before the First War, establishing a wonderful ice cream parlour and cafe in Ireland called. That's great. I had a job twice in Rome, one in Rome and one in Messina, two colleges. And because of like partners and never went, if you know what I mean. I would have been living there today. I love Rome. Favorite city. So I'm not saying I would have been, living there today, but the chances are I would have been. I would have been sitting there in Italy. But it's life. Life takes turns. There's regrets, as you know. You take these decisions and you go, do that. And then the bad decisions, they're the regrets. But you take other decisions which are brilliant and you'll never forget. To give you great memories. And that's what I have. Good memories, bad memories. You try to get the bad memories out of your system. But sometimes they come back to haunt you and you go, oh, no. It's the way it is. It's the human race. It's the human mind. It's everything. That's why you have psychologists and therapists, I think actors go through a lot of therapy. Especially, not being funny here, I'm really not, but especially female actors. Because say like, the young and they're being called, oh, you play this and you play that, and all of a sudden they start getting old and they start getting parts that they have like teenage sons. You know what I mean? And then, then they start getting parts where they have daughters who have got kids, so the grandmothers, and that's what gets them. They see the decline in parts, and that's what gets them. Believe me, I know. Galaxy Quest, watch it. Black and white, watch it. It's brilliant. It's funny. It's funny. And Alan Rickman's in it. Alan Rickman. Galaxy Quest. And Sigourney Weaver. George says, what's the great escape again? Remember, George, when it was on every Christmas? Every Christmas. But it's one of those films, watchable films, isn't it? There are two stars that never got on together, you know. You know, Dickie Darling Attenborough, he got on with everyone because he was Dickie Darling Attenborough. Hello, darling. And that's what I went to see him in a one-man show. I seen John Mills in a one-man show. And John Mills came out, he said, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. And Dickie Darling Attenborough, he came out, not on the same night. And he introduced it, and he just said, good evening, darlings. So wonderful to be here. Dickie Darling Attenborough. Great though. You know, the insight into what these done, what they did. Who they starred alongside. And Dickie Darling said, I get on with everybody. Because someone asked him the question. Someone said, did you get on with people or all the people that you worked with? And he said, yes. They were all darlings. I think that's what he said. They were all darlings or lovies or something like that. So yeah, The Great Escape. He plays X, didn't he? X. I never ever liked that Steve McQueen. You know, like when you first see him, you go, there's something about this. He was a dog, Steve McQueen. And he wasn't liked by some people. I tell you, in The Great Escape, the couple who didn't like each other, that was James Garner and Charles Bronson. And Garner said that, like, Garner was a type of person to get on with anyone. But Bronson, he always stayed. He just wanted to do what he was there for, and that was to act, say words, his lines, act, and go, or go to his trailer or wherever he was staying, go to the hotel. That's what he just wanted to do. He spoke to people, obviously, but that's what Garner said. He said, I couldn't get through to him. Edward says, I was watching a blogger called Sabbatical. He tours China and has some good videos. He's on YouTube. Sabbatical. I've been watching some streams. Especially, I've watched China. I've seen streams of China. Fantastic. There's one where they go to a mountaintop, stream, and you see this Buddhist thing. It's unbelievable. Incredible. This mountain range. Unbelievable. And then there's like, they get to another mountain range where there's caves with all these Buddhist statues, but they're not carved out of the rock. Enormous. They're enormous. Absolutely amazing. But I've seen the cities as well, you know, the cities are incredible. The airports, Chinese and so on. The airports are incredible. Absolutely amazing. Chinese. I'll have a look at that, Edward. George says, I can picture you, Frank, sitting dressed in black with a hat on to cover the sun, sitting outside, sipping coffee, playing dominoes. Playing dominoes. I think that's about the only game I could play, to be honest, playing dominoes. With a black hat, why not a white hat? I've got caps, like. I do have caps, actually. Edward. Sigourney Weaver is good in the second Alien film, and the new Alien film is good too. Why is there a new one? No, it can't be. No, Sigourney Weaver is very good. I like Sigourney. Speaks several languages, you know. I've seen her in a French film. Speaking it, just Sigourney. But she's great in this. There she is. No, there she is. There she is. There's the lovely lady there. Tim Allen as well. But it's a funny film. I'll tell you, I think I mentioned this last week or the week before or whenever I mentioned it. I did mention 2 Days in the Valley with Danny Aiello. 2 Days in the Valley and James Spader and Charlene Theron as a brew. Charlie's Theron. Mamma mia. Brilliant. It's great. But there's just one character in it who is irritable, you know, irritable to me. That's all. But very good film. Elmo, Ian Elmo, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, the John le Carre novel featuring Richard de Burton. Yep. And his co-star was a girl, very well-known actress, black hair, can see her now, forgot her name. Gene Simmons. No, it's not Gene Simmons. No, is it? Forget. Is it Gene Simmons? No, it's not Gene Simmons. Claire Bloom. Claire Bloom. Great film. Done in black and white for that authenticity. The Spy Who Came from the Cold. Richard de Burton. Yep. Great voice. Ali Danus, our Romanian friend. Hello, Frank. Hope you're well, sir. Yeah, but, you know, so. Ali, hope you're well. Hope you're well, fella, honestly. Good to see you as well. Famous fight between Taylor and Burton And who's afraid of Virginia Woolf fighting in their marriage, apparently? Yeah. Do you know that Burton and Taylor, they loved each other that much and still did, even when they broke up? They pined for each other. They pined for each other. Oh, my darling Elizabeth. It was great the way you used to pronounce Elizabeth. No, Elizabeth. Never called her Liz. It was always Elizabeth. Yeah. And when she she said, when I die, I want to be buried by Richard. And even Richard said the same. No chance. His wife, no chance. I think he just got married for a marriage of inconvenience to his last wife. It was an intense love story. And I mean intense. One of them little weeny flies that just fucking flown past me. Hate flies. Hate them with a vengeance. Little fucking thing. As with the Chinese train stations, yeah, the underground, the metro, the stations are all fantastic. Fuck yeah. I can't really twist my neck, fucking kills me. Elmo, the cat on the don't like him. Tennessee Williams, that southern drawl, horrible. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, don't like Tennessee Williams whatsoever. That's his name, Tenny, fucking from Tennessee. Jimmy Williams from Tennessee. Tennessee Williams. No. Streetcar named Desire and all that. Sorry. Sorry there, Elmo, lads. Frank, there is only one star left alive from The Great Escape. Now, Leighton, who was Bronson's mate, who got away. Yeah, John Leighton. He was a singer, wasn't he? What did he sing? I forgot what he sang. But it was a big hit for him. And then all of a sudden he went into films. Bit of a wooden actor. But, nevertheless, yeah. What about James Coburn? He got away as well, didn't he, on his bike? That was a bit of a phony part, that, George. Bronson, where he goes down into the tunnel, and he's with John Leighton, and he goes, "Oh, I can't go, and fucking took a tunnel." So all of a sudden he got claustrophobia. I thought, he dug it. Anyway, he ended up getting out, didn't he? But great film, absolutely wonderful film. Donald Pleasance, the fortune. Then all of a sudden he became blind. claustrophobe. One fella digs tunnels, became a claustrophobic, and the other fella, who was a great forger, became that. They were the like, Gary Rigby. Good morning, Frank. I watched a documentary on West China where the minority are being persecuted. Do you believe everything like that? I don't. Depends on who's done the documentary. Do you ever remember the Muslims, the Chinese Muslims? And it came out. This is look who are the axis of evil. North Korea, Russia, China, and Iran. So, and they've been like that for quite a few years now. And when you get the likes of documentaries, now you had, do you remember a couple of years ago? That's all, a couple of years ago. You had these Muslims that are in like concentration camps, and Chinese Muslims. And it was fucking debunked. It's how they spin things. So I'm very careful what I watch, who's doing it. So, I'm not saying, look, are we being persecuted, by the way? This country. You might think, no, we're not persecuted. There's persecution different ways, you know. There's persecution in, shall we say, you get the likes of pensioners, for example. Now, the pensioners, everybody was saying, why he was taking away the Prime Minister payments for the winter so that they could give the money to Ukraine. And it's still going on today, right now. That'll go on next week, next month, next year, while this man's in power. That's being persecuted. The pensioners are being persecuted in that way, very subtle way. That's persecution. Kids, 5.2 million below the poverty line, they're being persecuted because there's nothing for them. It's taken away from them. So there's different types of persecution. Persecution is not like, you know, beating up people or whatever. There's different types of it. Gotta be careful though, haven't we, Gary? Have you seen our date? Is that about pool? Well, am I wrong, Gary? And Gary says so as well. Oh, so you're like me, so. And Elmo says there's a new film about Burton called Mr. Burton with the brilliant Toby Jones. He is brilliant, Toby. Do you know the first time I ever seen Toby Jones was in a film called The Mist. Now, why I watched The Mist was I seen the director, Frank Carlyle. Now, he's a good actor. I'm sorry, director. And then I put it on. I go back a few years ago, and I put it on, and there's Toby Jones in it. Toby Jones was it. That was the first time I'd ever seen Toby, Toby Jones. I thought he was American, with being in this American thing called The Mist. Stephen King as well, She's this Stephen King thing, and I went, oh, what's this? And when I seen the director as well, Frank Carlyle, I said, oh, I'll have a go at this. It's quite good, actually. It's quite good. A fellow by the name of Thomas Jane in it. He's not a bad actor either. Fucking head on me, look. Never wash your hair. I had to do it because I've got this fucking thing in my skull. I seen The Great Escape with the 633 Squadron, and my granddad a cracking double bit with my granddad. Do you know what, Elmo? That 633 Squadron, was that about JFK? Or David McCallum was in it? I like the Battle of Britain with Olivier as Lord Dowding. Lord Dowding should have been up for war crimes, Did you know that? When he bombed Dresden. Dresden went to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. People melted. Are you aware of that? That was Dowding, though. Lord Dowding. If you think that the atomic bombs were bad, you don't hardly mention Dresden. And when it is mentioned, it just says, the Blitz on the bombings of Dresden. But they don't go into detail of what happened. One of the videos of China, the fella as a Chinese Muslim on, didn't see a concentration camp. Oh, that's not too bad. Didn't you ever remember that? Oh, it was all over the BBC, ITV. Oh, shocking. And it's like that. Oh, behave. You see people walking around, the concentration camps. Just laugh at things like that. I do anyway. Same you do. There's millions of Chinese Muslims in China. Yes. Yeah. Russians seem sound as well. Russians. Yeah. Look, the Chinese never done anything to me. Never. The Russians never done anything to me. Never. I met Russians when I was in Italy, and I always remember this woman talking to this woman, and she went, Russians, English she was. I said, what about them? She said, how are they out of their country? I said, what do you mean? No, she was going back to the old Soviet days. I said, it's all changed now. I said, it's an open, free country. No, still believe it. I said, well, what are they doing here, these Russian, people? I said, there's a couple over there that are Russian. I said, you've got a family, Russian family. can't say too much, can you, really? Edwards, have you seen the John Gotti film? There's two of them. The first one with Armand Asante, good actor, and is the better one. But the Travolta is still okay. John Travolta, is he in there, the Gotti? What's it they called? He has a nickname for him, didn't he? Teflon Don. And the other capos, I'm talking about the Capo di Tutti Capi, the other bosses of these families, the other four families, they were going mad at the way he dressed. He said, you're sticking out like a sore thumb. He had an actual meeting and saying, dress down. He said, no, it's the way I dress. He said, you're bringing attention to it. Just wear a suit and a tie, like we do. Even go out casual one night without a suit and a tie. Ali says, hit the like button, boys. It's free. Thanks, Ali. Callum says, that's one of our transfer targets. Gone. Arsenal have signed Zubimendi. I wanted him. Thanks for the bad news. No, you put me on as well. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. We'll be bringing in potential, if that, because Sloot likes the squad he's got. I'm satisfied with my squad. What is that? Because about Carabashela. Did we get him? No. As James Pearce said, he was an unknown quantity. I fumed at that. That's spin. That's what you call spin. But after all these players, 99.9% of them are spin. So that fans say, oh, see who we went after. He's gone there for more money, going to another club. If you don't want to come to Liverpool, don't come at all, and all this crap. What stupid fans say. I don't buy any of it. Elmo, 683 Squadron was the RAF bomber Nazi fuel plant, starring Cliff Robbo. A good film, a good B film, says Elmo. Yeah. So, why was Cliff Robertson in it if it was British? See what I mean? They have to bring in Americans. For the American market. And George Seth says, I go to Egypt on holiday. A lot of Russians there are proper superheads. They get on great with the Scottish. Superheads. I like that. Oh, oh, that's great. That. That's brought me back down to a little bit of it rather than Zubermendi. That's brilliant. That's funny. That super. They get on with the Scottish United. They drink the vodka over there. When Liverpool got to the final of the Champions League, and it was supposed to be played in St. Petersburg, I was fucking made up. I was going to go for a week. I was going to go. I planned it to go to St. Petersburg, obviously, watch the match, but spent a few days in Moscow. The SMO started. Did you hear what Trump said the other day? It's fucking funny. And he was serious. Trump said, fucking Debbie, to be honest. He had Gianni, I forget his fucking name, you know, he has a FIFA, the Italian. And someone said to Trump, he had him sitting next to him, I don't know what fucking for, like. And he said to Trump, Russia's been expelled from the World Cup. And he turns to him and he says, is that right? Yeah. And he said, yeah. He said, hey, maybe, you know, this ceasefire could be an incentive to bring them back into the World Cup. And the Italian head of the FIFA said, yeah, we could have a look at that. As if, no, oh, okay, yeah. Ceasefire, we'll all go back now. We want to play in the World Cup. Micta. Oh my God, I love Galaxy Quest. Such a sleeper hit. Yeah, I've said that before. That's funny. Alan Rickman. And he improvised the line. He's going back to his trailer and he had to do like a little thing. And he went, hey, come on with us. And he went, I'm going to pub. I walked away. They left us in. They left it, I'm going to pub. just walked away. They left it in that. It was that good. Lots of films have, especially comedies, they leave a lot of things in that shouldn't be in. I'll give you an example. The likes of that one, the likes of Gregory the Peck and Audrey Hepburn, where they were in Roman holiday, I think it was called, something like that. And the by the line, I've actually been to this line. You know, you see a lion's head on the wall, and you put your hand in for luck and all that. And Gregory the Peck puts his hand in, you know, he's got a shit, and he went, oh, and he pulls his hand out, but there's nowhere, you know, his hand's up his sleeve. And Audrey Hepburn got a shock as she really thought that it bit his hand off. And they left it in. Things like that. It's like, I'll tell you another one with Gregory the Peck, and it was the boys from Brazil. And Lord Olivier, Rally Olivier, they were on the phone to each other. And Gregory's playing, you know, the baddie. Isn't he? Joseph Mengels or someone. And Lord Olivier's playing the Jew hunter. And they're on the phone like that. Oh, yeah, that's fucking. And Gregory goes like that. And pulls her face and goes. Puts the phones out like that. He shouldn't have done it. He was messing about, but he kept it in. So there's things like that that's just going to get left in. Oh, that's good. George. Frank, you missed my comment on Citizen Kane. Did I? Citizen Kane's one of the best films ever. Orson Welles. One of the best films ever. It's about that Randolph Hearst, isn't it? The newspaper magnate. Citizen Kane. Do you know that Orson Welles always had a different face for every film he did? One of the best films I've ever seen. I don't know, it was how they did it was brilliant. They had like drama in it. They had, you know, I'm not saying thriller, but there was lots of drama and there was lots of underbelly, but also lots of comedy. That fucking fly. I think it wants to become me mate. I think it's fucking flying past and it's winking at me and saying, can we be mates, Frank? Yeah, this film, it's absolute, and there's great stalwart British actors in it. And funny enough, so is Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. And the French actor, Louis Jourdan. But you've got Wells in it. And Margaret Rutherford. Those two together was absolutely fantastic. Orson Welles is brilliant. And that was called, has anyone got it? No? The VIPs. Great film. Great film. Maggie Smith's in it. Robert Taylor. Is it Robert Taylor? No, not Lynn. Oh, fucking Taylor. Anyway. Great film. Really, really great film. And it's about an airport. And fog descends on. And they can't, there's no flights out. And that's where the drama begins. And the comedy. Rutherford, brilliant. And so is Orson Welles. Angus Lenny was in The Great Escape, Angus Lenny. And he got killed, didn't he, on the way? In The Great Escape, shot by those dirty Germans. I think they were Ukrainians who shot him. Nazis. They became Nazis, didn't they? The Ukrainians during the war. People forgot that. Fucking Starmer forgot that as well. But he fucking never had a clue about it. And King fucking Charles saluting them. A fucking disgrace. My fucking dad fought them. Never forgive him for that. Starmer inviting them over. What does that tell you about this fucking country now? To march in our fucking parade, our victory parade over the Nazis. And they're fucking gang of Nazis fucking walking. Just want to get started on that. Yeah, Angus Lenny. He was in Crossroads as well. I seen him in Crossroads. Do you know when it came out there? We had nothing on the telly, did we? Fucking Crossroads. Jesus. television and those. And he was in that. He was a chef in it. Never forget it. Chef. So he was in The Great Escape. And, he's come down, acting with the likes of Steve McQueen. Tiki Darling Attenborough. Fucking Crossroads. Hard times. Ferengus must have been. Judd. Frank Scorsese actively encourages actors to improvise during scenes, of which I've ended up classic. Yeah, spot on there. I'll tell you who else. It wasn't really improvised though, but they left it in. And the poor girl was terrified. And do you know what it was in? It was in that. Because they had a machine dragging her under the water. She's on the top of the water. She was fucking terrified. But they left it in. She said, I don't want to do that no more. No. She was actually shouting, please. Oh, please. She was actually fucking pleased to stop. Wasn't in the script that, about the shark fucking biting her. Another thing. Did you like Tora film about Pearl Harbor? Elmo says. My auntie Lee, my mother's sister, she had a boyfriend, Italian American. She was Italian herself, my auntie Leah, and she was engaged to him, and he was a sailor. He was in the USA Navy, and anyway, when war broke out, they were here, the Americans, as you know. And he said to me grandmother, he said, can I marry? And my granddad, yeah, he said, yeah, get married. So they got engaged. And he said, can I bring her over to America when we're married? Get away from this. This is going to go worse here. Obviously the war and the bombing. And they said, yeah. And he said, the next time I'm here, he said, I don't know when it is. He said, we've got to go over to the Pacific, something like that. Anyway, they went over, and Pearl Harbor was it. Pearl Harbor. And that's how they knew. Roosevelt, he could have stopped all that, but he allowed it to go on. He wanted to be dragged into the war. They could have stopped it. They could have stopped that devastation at Pearl Harbor. They could have got them head on. Anyway, that's by the by. So when they were bombing Pearl Harbor, the Auntie Leah's fella at the time, his mate jumped over and he was in the water, and he said, come on, get in. He said, yeah, okay. And he grabbed something and he dived in, and he dived into a shark's mouth, a fucking great white. Killed him. Shark had him. Pearl Harbor. See the way deaths are unnecessary. How they could be avoided. But who fucking cares? It's all right, politicians coming out after the end of every war saying, great sacrifice our people gave. I'm talking about the fucking people who could have easily avoided it. You had 27 million soldiers, plus civilians, No. 27 million Russians dying. Don't get a fucking mention of the West. 80% of the might of the German army were fighting the Russians on the Eastern Front. 80%. Some say it wasn't, it was 85%. But only 15% of the Germans fighting the fucking Allies on there in Normandy and in France. And they're fucking the other fella coming out and saying we won the war. Trump. America won the war. No one else. Fucking wrong though. Almost. Not really. Sort of. I seen one, I think, who did it? Forget who did it. Did Spielberg do it? Anything with Spielberg I watch. But I have watched something similar. Maybe that, I don't know. Gerard could be going back to Rangers, says Edward. He should never have left us. He should never have left. Klopp was teaching. Klopp. There's no better. There wasn't a better manager to teach a prodigy than Jurgen Klopp. I could be the manager of their Rangers and do well. Me. Not being funny. Scottish football. George said, on war films, one of the best I watched recently was Tom Hanks and The Greyhound. It's a naval drama. Great. I like Tom Hanks, but I've never watched that. That does come up, doesn't it, The Greyhound? Latest film. I haven't watched it though, George, to be honest. And I like Hanks. Have you seen The Bridge of Spies? Fantastic. True story. Tom Hanks. And that Rylance fella, the British actor. It's an excellent film. Is it The Bridge of Spies? Something like that. Really good film. Cara mia Toscana, come stare. Politicians need to put their own families on the front line as well as themselves. Then you'll see there will be no war. That's what I said before, Toscana. You know, it's all right for them to say, oh yeah, you know, you've only got to look at Ukraine. To the contrary of what people believe, the Western press, which is a load of bollocks, I'm sorry to say that to you. 1.2 million Ukrainians have perished in that war. 1.2 million. Not like 30 or 40,000 as the West tried to tell you. I was listening to that fucking Kellogg yesterday saying Russia's losing the war. He's off his head. He's off his fucking head. And Trump has taken notice of him. But you're right, Toscana. I'm trying to think. Do you know Rudyard Kipling? Rudyard. Great. Right? Now, Rudyard Kipling, he had a son named Harry. And he doted on him. And when the First World War broke out, his son said, "Dad, they're not letting me in the army," because he was suffering from his eyes, myopic, something wrong with his eyes. He said, "They're not allowing me in." He said, "All my chums have joined, and I don't want to be left out. I want to go over and do my duty because don't forget what Earl Grey said: the war will be over by Christmas." People believed it at the time that the war would be over by Christmas. Even the Kaiser Wilhelm, he said, the war will be over when the leaves fall off the trees. So he was saying the autumn, it's going to be over in the autumn, when the leaves fall off the trees. So everyone expected a quick bing, bing, bang, and back home, all enjoying chestnuts on open fire at Christmas Day. And Harry said, "Dad, I really need to go. Please, Dad. You can do something." Now, Rudyard Kipling was very influential, and he knew a couple of high-ranking, a couple of generals, actually. And he said about the son, he said, so he said, "Okay." He said, "But you'll have to sign a paper, to say that he's okay. Is that all right?" And he said, "Yeah." So his son got into the army. Now, I'm not digressing, by the way. Now, if you look at other things, young kids, 14, 15, "I want to go, Dad, I want to go in the..." And those fathers, they weren't fucking taking them in. And the fucking army knew that these were kids. They knew. But they had the fathers, sign this paper, giving their permission, just like Rudyard Kipling said. And unfortunately, Harry and his regiment went over the top, as usual, got there, and they were called back. The whistle went to go back to their own lines because they couldn't advance anymore. But with all the smoke and debris and whatever, and he didn't know where he was when it was all settled. And he went back towards his lines, as he thought. And it was the German lines he was going towards. And he got killed. And he wrote a poem, one of the greatest poems ever. Hard-hitting poems written about war. Needless ends. And it's only 2 lines. And here's what he wrote. "If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied." How hard-hitting is that? How hard-hitting is that? If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. I did a DVD when I was over with my students, World War I graves, and I found a few graves, 14 years of age and 15 years of age. Anyway. Big up, Frank, mate. Hope you're well today. Wasn't Galaxy Quest Jerry Anderson? No, no, it wasn't. Jerry Anderson was brilliant, you know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant, you know, the Captain Scarlet, you know, and all those four feather falls. We have left off down the likes of puppet things. Brilliant. Hello, Miss Penelope. Morning, my lady. Remember that? Remember him? Edward says, George, I've seen that. Good film, loads of action. And George says, so Edward. Mark Ryland says, quality. Never seen him in a bad show. He excels as a mild-mannered tailor in The Outfit. Brilliant film. Brilliant film, George. The Outfit. Oh. Edward. 1.2 million, is that all Ukrainians or soldiers? Soldiers. Believe it or not, and take it from me as pure, unadulterated, 110% fact, the Russians do not target civilians. If they did, Ukraine would be flattened by now. They just target military installations, energy installations. That's all. Don't read the propaganda, but that's Zelensky. Zelensky's a fucking liar. You know that. You should know that. And he's saying that it's bombing hospitals, fucking schools, and I take no fucking notice of it. They bombed a market, they shelled a market, an open market to the Ukrainians. You don't hear about that, do you? Remember when they tried to say about Bucha, and it was the Russians who killed these civilians? It's been debunked. Even their ambassador brought it up in the UN, the Russian ambassador, and came out with everything to debunk it. They even had witnesses, and one of them was a French journalist who was there, shocking what he was saying to the UN. So that's being debunked. Fucking shocking, those Ukrainians, what they're doing, what they did do. It's not hate speech. Could be locked up. It's not hate, is it? I'm just talking about the ordinary Ukrainians are wanting peace. That's all. They don't want this war to go on. But unfortunately, the defunct leader, Vladimir Zelensky, he's escalating. How many more Ukrainians need to die? It's shocking what he's doing. But again, it's not just them. The more it carries on, the more safer they are. Now, how would you explain safer? It's the Azovs, because they'll be rounded up and they'll go on war crimes, especially by Russia. They'll just fucking put them on trial in Russia including Zelensky, for what they've done. So the more it goes on, the more safer they are. Do you see what I mean? Remember when the ICC put a warrant out on the arrest of Putin for kidnapping kids. You got about 600 of them out of a war zone in Donbass that's being fucking shelled. Anyway, he got them to Russia and he set them all up in a big camp. Learning facilities. It's like what we call here, like Butlins or whatever. Carrying on with their education. And he was served a warrant, ICC, for war crimes, for kidnapping. Didn't kidnap them. He saved them, the kids. And most of them have gone back because it's safe where, it's part of Russia now, the Donbass. So most of them have gone back to the parents who were made up. I've seen a documentary on it where the kids were staying. Absolutely amazing. Where there was talented children, like, say, musicians, playing the piano, for example. You're doing that. Sports, gymnasts, formal education as well. Carrying on with the Russian culture, which Zelensky wanted to ban, which he did ban, by the way. Russian language, Russian culture. And did you know Zelensky's granddad was in the Soviet army, fighting the Germans, the Nazis? And he was threatening to send missiles over to Moscow. I'll guarantee you there, if he would have done that to try and disrupt the Great March, the great anniversary 80th, Kiev would have been no longer. I'm telling you, would have been flattened. Medvedev said Kiev will see won't see the 10th of May. He said. If Medvedev would be president of the Russian Federation, so I'll tell you something now, this war would be over. I'm telling you now. If Medvedev, he used to be president and Putin took over, but if he'd be president today, it'll be over. I'm telling you now. The war. So thank you for that. Goes on through everything. Zubermendi, Man United, Zelensky. And Charles Bronson, Elizabeth Taylor, and Richard Byrne. Right, so the films to watch, what I suggested, was, as you know, was Firefox with Clint, my mate. Clint. Assimilate, I don't know who do, but it's very good, Assimilate. Even watch that if you haven't seen it. Galaxy Quest. Alan Rickman. Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney's in it. 2 Days in the Valley. Brilliant. Danny Aiello, great actor. Died last year, I think. Danny. He's in it. It's really good. I mentioned another one, didn't I? But you know what? There's an old British. I love the old British propaganda films during the war. You know me about propaganda. But during the war, you had to have propaganda. You really did. But they were made in film things. And there was one called Morning Departure with Millsy, John Mills. Morning Departure. You'll get it on YouTube. Have a look at it. Please have a look at it. You've also got oh, God bless the name of it. It's brilliant. Fucking hell, I forgot the title. The Way There, something like The Way There or something. David Niven's in it. It's really good. And it's about it. You see individuals at the beginning of the, the film. This is like before the war, the outbreak of war. And you just see what they do. And then all of a sudden, war breaks out. Then you see these individuals, they didn't know each other. Well, had a fucking clue who they were, And then you just see them going into this regiment. Because that's the way it was, back in the day. Back in the day, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Sorry about this. Little pain. So, I forget the title. I'm sorry. If you give me a minute, I'll go and get the title because I don't want you to miss this. I'll have to put my telly on a minute. The telly's on, but I'll just go straight down to it. Okay. Just hang on a sec. Awfully sorry. Awfully sorry. It's called The Way Ahead. Try and watch it. Try and watch The Way Ahead. It's brilliant. Great propaganda film. The Way Ahead. Try and watch it. It's on YouTube. Get it? The Way Ahead. And you see all the great British stalwart actors and actresses. Just watch it. And George says, Frank, that Hamilton woman with Larry and Vivian was a propaganda from 1941 to encourage Americans into the war. I've seen it. That Hamilton woman. Did you know, I'll give you a bit of a history thing. She lived by us, where we live. I don't know whether you're aware of that. And when I show people a mansion in the heart of the city, she used to go there. And he never ever came to Liverpool, right? Never ever came. And he was just like not far, baked up, not far from Lady Hamilton. And he used to come into Liverpool. How he got here, it must have been by carriage or something, no fucking trains then, he couldn't come on a ship. And that's where he used to meet her. Clandestine meetings with Lady Emma Hamilton. There's a sword in cracking sword in Liverpool Town Hall, and it was going to be presented to Nelson. Excuse me. It's going to be, but he never ever came to Liverpool. Do you get me? Never came officially to be presented with this sword, and it's in the you see it in the town hall. It's fantastic, really fantastic. So I'll leave you all on that little note. Galaxy Quest, The Way Ahead, Firefox, Assimilate. Have a look at it as well as another propaganda film, little black and white thing. Pimpernel Smith. These are all on YouTube. I'm not saying that's on YouTube. I don't think this is on YouTube. Pimpernel Smith. Brilliant. You know, the Scarlet Pimpernel, Baroness Ortsky. And the Scarlet Pimpernel was actually based on a Liverpool MP. Did you know that? Did you know that? He used to smuggle out the French because he was always over in France. He had friends over there, especially aristocrats and well-to-do people. And he used to come, smuggle them out. So the Scarlet Pimpernel was based on a Liverpool MP named this fella. The streets names after him. There's a great mausoleum for him as well here in Liverpool. And he was greatly, but he was the first fatality of the railway system. His name was William Huskerson. He was a great heavy investor into the first passenger railway system in the entire world. And yet, look what he did for the French. Hence, the Scarlet Pimpernel that was based on him. The elusive Pimpernel. And he was elusive. Daryl, Frankie baby, how you Daryl? Zuba gone to Arsenal, Daryl, and I'll leave you all. I know that some of you have given me like a film to watch myself. Awfully sorry about this. I know we got Frimpong. Yeah, sure. I'd rather have had Zuba rather have had Carabashela. Frimpong, fuck's sake. So, that's me for today. I'll be doing the watch along tomorrow. I'll be starting at 3:30 because it's a 4 o'clock kickoff. Frimpong and Kirkers done. I thought Kirkers was too much money. Oh no, hang on, we're selling players, aren't we? Still saving money. So, it's not football, I'm sorry. It's not football. It's films, it's TV. Look, try and watch it. I've been saying this for yonks, and no one takes a blind bit of notice of me. Try and watch The Outsider TV series. It's only a short, like, it doesn't go on season 1 and season 2 and season 3 and 4 and 5 and all that crap things. It's just a small series, about 8 to 10 episodes. And it's called The Outsider. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Frank, watch the Cleaner. Amazing film, says Daryl. The Cleaner. Yeah, I was going to watch it. I put on a thing called Monkey, the Monkey Show. Oh, fuck. Something's has to get on my attention in the 10 minutes. I won't watch films. I'll tell you what kind of films. Do you know when you read the summary or a small synopsis of it? And it says ex-special ops, retired ex-special ops goes after all those fucking stupid films. Johan, apologies, I dropped in late. We'll catch the watch along on time tomorrow. Says Johan. The watch along. So the monkey is me. Daryl says, brilliant Cage film out. What is it? Daryl, let me know now before I go. What's the Cage film? Try and let me know. So mine's out next. He's in a film called Tarkarov. And it's a great film with Nick Cage in. It's really good. It's really good. He plays an ex. They're like a John Wick type thing, actually. Where they walk away from crime-ridden, like, mafiosis. honestly. Tokara, it's called. Really good. But it's a couple of years old, you know. Really good. Watch it. It's about a fella, you know, he's just a businessman now. I know his daughter gets killed, shot, and he goes after them. But there's a great story as well to it. It really is good. Really good. It's not like a fucking special ops thing, you know. Not like that. And Daryl says the safer. I'll have a look at that. I'll look that up now. Thanks, Daryl. Thanks everybody for joining me this morning. And I'll see some of you tomorrow, hopefully, to watch along. I'll be seeing you at around 3:30 with a 4 o'clock kickoff. So we'll have a pre-match. And afterwards, you know, the watch along, then a post-match. I've just got to thank every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning on everything. We put the world set out. Besides the films. And don't forget, Assimilate. Try and watch that. It's good. Thank you, everyone. See you later. Ci vediamo. Ad domani. Ciao. Ciao, Bella.